Hello everyone.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. My name is Icarix and he's Kinagosis. Sorry we haven't been uploading for a while actually.
And we still haven't uploaded as of this recording, which is December 16th.
Yes, we do apologize for that, dear viewers.
It's a combination of factors. A lot of it is also just because we keep running into delays that I just want to let the videos all pile up to a good amount when I'm inclined to upload, because we keep running into delays.
What's going on right now, Kinagosis?
Well, that's a good question, because I don't entirely remember what the fuck happened in the last video. It's been a while.
That's not fucking good, don't you fucking think?
Well, there's only so much I can remember, and I've been busy. Anyway, so we are developing our provinces. We're expanding eastward. Our economy is doing quite well. We have a small rebel force, but part of us is taking care of them.
Oh, I see we've migrated our people.
No, we just have a migrating group. That we've decided. This is again something that is through the events Roulette mod, which I've done away with.
You don't use it anymore?
No, I haven't in a while now.
Is it just like not very useful, or
it was just a pain in the hole. I found it a little bit too punishing. But yeah, so we are again doing some further developments. So building a trade hub for iron in Praga. Yeah, I still need to kind of record a new session if I will. Still been figuring out whether or not I should or will record another session for this series. I should. I just haven't been terribly motivated, as I've probably talked about before.
Yes, dear viewers, we've actually been considering moving on to a different campaign altogether. So, we've actually been considering moving on to something, like, Kinagosis, what did you have in mind, actually?
Yes, I completely missed the initial part of what you were saying because my headphones disconnected. Anyways, so, yeah, because of all the technical problems with this series, my fault, I have been contemplating moving on to other series in the meantime, whilst I figure out what to do with this. And tentative ideas have been Warhammer 3. I initially did start recording, I talked about this before, I think, a campaign as Dryka from the Wood Elves. But days after I recorded about a 2 hours of footage, I had to, I think, I was being called down, so I couldn't have much time to record that day. But days after I did that, did not patch 4.1 come out, and that would have broken the save and broken the mods and all that, and I just haven't gone near Warhammer 3 since, just waiting for more development and mods and stuff. But that's an idea.
Yeah, and you were also mentioning a potential run-through of Kingdom Come Deliverance as well, I believe.
Yes, that's one idea, and for the crew. Kingdom Come will require a bit of figuring out how we'll approach that, because it's an RPG. So it's not like Total War or any of these where we can just edit a lot of the footage and then commentate over it. Well, we could, but it wouldn't be ideal personally. So we need to figure out a way of having the two of us commentate on it over live gameplay, possibly, which is doable maybe, unless we live streamed it. Maybe could be an idea.
Possible. We'll have to work out the kinks of it, though.
Yeah, we'll have to figure the logistics of it. I'm sure my system could handle that. It's a pretty powerful enough PC at this point.
I seek coin as token of your good and
But, yeah. So it's where we're at the moment.
Where we're at with this campaign at the moment, well, it looks like we've been rejecting diplomacy quite a bit now, actually.
Well, yeah.
Oh, we really don't like diplomacy, don't
It's
we?
just not really worth doing. A lot of the time.
And I see we're contemplating a battle over
Uh,
It looks as though we decide to... Oh,
I think what I see here is,
we
one of my
decide not to go through with it.
one of my allies sent their army to attack that settlement with my army reinforcing. I didn't want to do that.
Oh, okay. And we're getting border raids over at Raga.
Yeah, an event from Event Roulette.
Oh, is that left over from the event roulette?
That's why I was still using the mod.
Oh, right, right.
You see, at this stage of the campaign, I was still using the mod.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So we're besieging Parsa. And we're moving into Bam. And auto resolve because it's not really worth fighting.
Bam is completely under our reign.
Yeah.
We decide to...
Loot. My apologies there. Long day. Yes, we decide to loot the settlement. And we dismantled 2 of the buildings. Yeah, it has a wonder in it. We also decided to dismantle the settlement building, so it goes down to level 1, but the garrison's like fully restored. But yeah. But there's probably just less time. I don't know. But yeah. So that's where we're at.
Well, the bomb citadel's looking pretty stable, we can say.
Suppose.
Oh, and I see we're deploying some forces over Parsa.
Well, we've been besieging it, so we're just adding extra siege engines.
And we're continuing with our siege. Hopefully that goes very well on our end.
Do you remember how many battles are in this part?
Yes, there are 2 battles.
Okay. I haven't seen the footage. This is my first time properly watching the footage, so... And it's been a while since I played, so... It's always just remember what things are doing. But yeah...
We maintain our protective stance from Ayub, or... Sorry, what's that region called again?
Let's see. Gore.
I give up.
Gore
Ah.
is the settlement.
We maintained our defensive stance at Gore, and it seemed to go pretty well on our end, so...
Yeah, defensive
like
stance, which generally reduces casualties.
And we make a good... and I see we're in the midst of making some alliances.
Oh, we're just sending diplomats. We're sending over diplomats. This is a feature in Rome 2's politics that got added in, I think it was patch 20. Albeit it's kind of not a well-designed feature.
Why not?
Too much RNG.
What do you mean by RNG?
Chance.
Really?
So, when you send a diplomat, you get a variety of different outcomes. Positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
The best case scenario, you can get a settlement off of that faction.
And the worst case scenario?
Really bad relations and the loss of that diplomat. And the problem is, whilst there are factors that determine the odds of success and what you get to a certain degree, it seems like it's too much left to chance more than anything else. Okay, so we have a battle, it looks like. outside
Not too
of
good.
the auto
Looking too
resolve
good
doesn't
for
look
us.
very good, but we might have the advantage here.
Really? How so?
Our hot bite heavy force, they have a lot of cavalry, which is going to do very bad against our phalanx. And the area is not very smart at using its cavalry, so yeah. So we'll have to see what happens.
We have our citizens militia ready and stacked up there.
Citizen and native militia.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Yeah, from the Greek hoplites. You know. That's a singular, the plural is hoplitai.
Alright. We seem to be holding up a decent defense there.
Well, yeah, it's cavalry fighting a big bunch of spearmen. That's usually a bad move.
Oh, javelins away.
Arrows.
Arrows. Damn it, I keep getting mistaken between javelins and arrows. It's really frustrating on my end.
Javelins are big, long throwing spears.
I know,
Arrows
but
are arrows.
from how I'm looking at it, they all look the same.
So as you're looking from just a small little screen share.
Exactly, yeah.
Because of course we're not IRL when we do these. He's in his place, I'm in mine. So that's just the way it works. We were never able to get sorted the logistics and the technicalities of IRL recording.
Yeah, that's generally what happens when you live over in Dublin and I'm all the way over here in Killiney, so it's a fair bit of distance to travel.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about even in general.
Not always very doable.
We
let's just say.
tried experimenting with IRL recording and it didn't work. Still need to sort that out. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I need to look into sorting that out. Some way of getting it working. Just need to figure it out. But yeah. Yeah, so the area has basically funneled all of its troops into one area.
That's generally not a good idea, I'm assuming.
Not really, because if they're all in that one area, I can move troops around and then just hammer and anvil.
Just trap them in like a giant box.
Yeah. Almost like a pincer move, I suppose. You know, but this is the AI. The AI is not exactly very smart at doing this stuff, so...
Sure, as we pointed out countless times already, the AI isn't exactly the smartest out of the box.
No, it isn't. Moving my armed natives around, some of my militia.
Well, I'd say they're royally fucked.
Possibly.
They've royally fucked themselves.
Maybe. We'll just have to see what happens, eh?
Hmm. Shipri Tukul.
Shipri Tukul I Mizdaganig.
So they're spearmen, I'm assuming?
Mesopotamian mercenary spearmen.
Mesopotamian mercenary spearmen. Okay. What were they like back then?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
There's just some randomish unit that's like, yeah, Mesopotamia would have had spearmen, they probably would have been mercenaries. The spear was a very common weapon.
Were they not a thing in real life? Is this just something made up in the game? Or,
Like,
or is it just...
well, ultimately, I don't know much. I'm not well versed in this, but would there have been Mesopotamian mercenary spearmen back then? Almost certainly yes. Because you would have had mercenaries from all sorts of places, including Mesopotamia. They would have been spearmen because the spear is practically the most common weapon in the world. And yeah, and they would have possibly looked maybe something like how they're shown in DEI, probably a lot more varied in reality. And
But this is basically just speculation.
yeah, it's just a gameplay unit that's like kind of an obvious, yeah, it probably existed in some form, but wasn't a formal. It's not like there's a difference between something like those generic-y Mesopotamian mercenary spearmen and like the Silver Shields, a very specific group. You get me?
Yeah, I suppose.
There's a difference between that, and that's the thing. There's a contrast between. There's a difference between some random generic-y thing that's there that's like, yeah, that probably existed in some way, but you can't say, oh yeah, they were definitely like this in it as if it was a formal unit, versus what the Silver Shields are like, which was an actual unit. And anyways, I wouldn't be well versed in what Mesopotamia was like at this time period. You know, I wouldn't really be that knowledgeable about that side of things.
That's understandable.
You know, I'm mainly versed in like Greek and Roman military with a bit of knowledge in Thracian and Celtic, because I've got a few resources on those, you know.
Well, it looks like our citizen militia are
our militia and our armed natives are charging from behind after making short work of the enemy archers. So yeah, this is clearly going to be a victory for us, and the enemy is already starting to rout.
That was a nice turnaround. We're driving them away now.
Yeah, now we're in the routing phase. So to kill as much as we can.
You can raise your shields up all you like, guys, but it's not gonna save you.
Well, it might save them from missiles, but it'll make them exposed to somebody spear jabbing them in the side. So,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought that was, from the looks of it, I thought it was the enemy that were raising their shields up above their heads.
Yeah, they were.
Oh,
to protect themselves
okay.
from the arrows.
Oh, right.
I was just saying it won't protect them from the spears jabbing them in the side. But yeah, so that was a pretty decisive affair.
Sure, it wasn't even a challenge at this point. They had all the advantages. They had the greater numbers, and they still screwed themselves over.
I think the better thing to do would have probably had their infantry attack in a few areas, and move the cavalry behind to hit from behind. That would have worked out better.
And I see we decide to... What did we decide to do? We decide to...
Kill the captives.
Sure, they fuck themselves over, so... You know.
But yeah. We're in a new turn now. So we got a few nice, positive diplomatic arrangements.
Hopefully they work out in our favor.
So we just upgrade a few buildings in Susa. Mainly the temple and the settlement building. We choose the Sacred Grove, I think it's called.
We decide to add a goldsmith.
The Sacred Grove helps boost public order the most out of any temple building.
What's the use of a political zealot, actually?
Political zealot?
Yeah.
I mean, like, just the just a little thing I added to the agents there.
Yeah.
I don't remember what its effects are.
It's the first time I'm seeing it, so.
Yeah, I don't remember what it does, what political Z it does.
Oh, alright then.
So I can't help there. But yeah, yeah, where we last left off in the campaign was thorax reforms had occurred.
Yeah?
So had a lot of nifty units from that. Like the Silver Shield Swordsmen, the Royal Guard Spearmen, the Galatian Thorax Swords, Cataphracts, and then the upgrades to the Agama and Hetaira and all that good stuff. Really good units. And that's where I'd have quite a bit I could probably talk about in the history side there.
Yeah?
At least a bit, because a lot of what I researched when I was doing my thesis was on the late era Seleucid military. And, because I wrote about the kind of Romanization, if you will, of the Seleucid military. Which I could go on for days about. But suffice to say that that idea is represented in the Silver Shield Swordsmen. A late game sword unit for the Seleucids. They're a pretty strong unit, and they're kind of based on a few things really. It's a combination of a reference from Polybius describing the Daphne Parade, and a terracotta figurine found in Nippur in Mesopotamia, the modern day Iraq. And those are the main kind of sources on this unit. Which is quite interesting. It's a bit more.
I'd like to continue our siege with Parsa, so hopefully that goes in our favour.
Yeah, I guess I'm probably just hoping for a Sally. Is my guess.
Why are you hoping for a Sally?
Because it means it's a field battle, which is more advantageous for me with the kind of army I have.
Oh, alright then.
I guess I don't think the pikes would do the best at storming the walls.
It's not their specialty?
Wouldn't really be. They're best used in formation with their pikes. Now, Therail swords and Therail spearmen are pretty solid, and the Galatians, so it probably could work with them, but it's still not enough numbers.
They wouldn't exactly be the most athletic.
It's not about athletics, it's just that they work best in a particular way. Looks like we're contemplating an assault.
I see we decide to follow through with our assault on Parsa.
Yeah.
Right, so who do we have here now?
Well, there's our Galatians and Therail swords and spears. So that's the gist of our forces that'll be storming the walls. So yeah. Our bronze shields are moving the ram. So yeah, we'll just have to see what happens, eh?
Who are we besieging in Parsa?
I think the faction is it's probably the Parsa faction with their garrison troops. So like a Persian militia, Persian spearmen, and Persian archers, I think.
Alright.
So we'll just see what happens. It's probably quite a costly battle, I reckon, because siege battles tend to be quite costly.
How come they tend to be costly?
Because
Well,
you're
obviously, because like they have those joined ladders, obviously. But are there any other factors?
you're fighting on walls, and there can be a lot of troops there, so you can exhaust your guys. They can be whittled down from ranged fire. Stuff like that. Sometimes the ladders can burn through flaming munitions, and then they're kind of useless.
Of course, of course.
The ideal thing to do is to try and storm the walls enough so you can open the gates and then get your troops flooded in, and that can be tricky. And sometimes they just ended up being obliterated after time. You can't really utilize cavalry unless you can get them inside. So if you've artillery,
unless you're somehow able to storm the gates as well.
yeah, but the enemy usually protects their gates. I suppose having artillery could be useful then, because then you can just break down those walls, but I just don't find much space for artillery with 20 units.
No.
Now, I could probably in future campaigns look into upping that limit per army. And that might be interesting. But I've yet to attempt anything like that. So, remains to be seen what I might do in that regard.
The Recolour have already reached the walls, so hopefully this goes pretty well.
Yeah, good old Recolour.
So Recolour would be the best options to send the walls first, basically. Is that the general strategy?
Well, they would be better than your pikemen, certainly. Because they're solid melee troops. You know?
Mm-hmm. Sure, you also have to take into account the amount of energy it takes to push those ladders to the walls to begin with. You know, you gotta make sure that they're full of energy before they even reach the walls. Otherwise, they're screwed.
Is where siege towers are better because you can have they're better protection and more guys can be deployed at a time. But I don't have siege towers yet.
When do you think you'd be able to get them?
One, I researched the relevant tech, which I just hadn't bothered to do.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah. So our troops are on the walls.
Some guys, due to stupid AI, they're just standing there like, oh, our friends are getting slaughtered in front of us one by one. This should be a good show.
Yep.
And those guys are just watching. They're just watching their enemies climb up the wall. Like, oh yeah, you guys can come on in. I mean, like, you can slaughter us anytime you want. I mean, like, we've got.
Well, soon they'll start flooding troops onto the walls and probably be a lot messier then.
But so far, they're just like, oh yeah, come in, slaughter us. I mean, like, we're not doing anything else with our lives, so yeah, you can bash our brains in, basically. Go on, I won't stop you.
I think the problem with siege is just pathfinding is a bit of a problem. So yeah, it's not always easy, siege battles. But
no, I would assume they're the hardest.
They're going to be tricky anyways.
Well, those guys are walking on thin air, so they're obviously having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
And those guys aren't doing anything, they're just like they're not doing anything, they're just standing there watching all the emotion. Not due to poor AI, but stuff like that I just find hilarious, honestly.
Uh-huh.
Hey guys, don't mind me. I'm just stretching my joints before I get into a battle. You know, let's build joints before I do bloody business with you. What's this? When's the match starting? I want to see what all the commotion's about. Move. Wow, those guys are climbing up the walls. They're hoping to join the party, aren't they? All that's missing is a DJ and a disco ball. It could be a huge rave. Oh, those guys have. Are there like underground tunnels?
No, they're meant to be ladders. So they're meant to be going down.
The ones who are emerging underneath the openings in the pillars over there. Are there meant to be like underground tunnels or something?
No, they're coming from on top of the walls.
Oh, and they're climbing down from there. Oh yeah,
yes.
I see now. I didn't notice those openings before. Very peculiar design flaw. Like, why would you have those openings that can easily lead you down into the courtyards?
So you can easily go up?
Oh, yeah. But sure, like, you think they'd be better defended. You'd think there'd be, like, at least a few of the forces just guarding them with their live arms to make sure the enemy couldn't reach the courtyard. You know?
But again, this is just the way they designed the maps in CA did. Reality is probably quite different, but it's harder to say. But the main thing is, I suppose, outright siege battles didn't happen that often, I don't think.
No?
There are usually other ways you resolve these things, probably just a prolonged siege. So somebody gave in. It's just that doesn't exactly make for the great gameplay, and CA made these type of maps. Because DEI has nothing to do with the maps.
No, I suppose not. Alright, well, our TWR2 have infiltrated
TWR2.
Oh, sorry, which of those forces again? I assume they
TWR2.
TWR2. Is that what they are, or are they somewhat
yeah,
different?
They're
TWR2.
TWR2.
Oh, so yeah, our TWR2.
Toreo. You're saying Torero.
So anyway, our TWR2 have infiltrated the ground now and are making assaults.
As of our Galatians, they've also infiltrated.
Yes, good observation there.
And our Ram is finally getting some damage in.
Oh, the doors are... Oh, I thought the doors were down there.
Got some fierce fighting going on still.
Oh, there are Syrian elephants arriving soon. It should...
Well, they might actually be Indian elephants rather than Syrian.
Oh, Indian elephants, okay.
The Indian arid elephants, they might be those instead of the Syrian elephants. The gates have been destroyed.
Move out of the bloody way! Come on, move! There you go.
Right, our TWR2 have come in and hit the enemy. Now we're moving our elephants in.
If they can even squeeze in.
Oh yeah, they're squeezing through fine. Yeah, they're the Syrian elephants.
I knew they were. Oh, making short work of them now. Squashing them like cockroaches. You can't get out now, you're screwed.
And our pikes are also doing damage.
Well, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that, so... Bad luck for them all around.
Oh yeah.
spearmen protecting the exits. There's
Our
no way out
pikes.
for them.
Yeah, our pikes are blocking the gate.
Oh, pikes. Yeah, alright.
Ooh. Poor Archer.
Yeah. Not looking too good for them, unfortunately.
No. And that's that.
And I believe we are at the end of this, video.
Indeed we are. We lost an entire unit of Thoreo swordsmen.
But it was a decisive victory nonetheless.
Indeed.